Hello, my dear ones. I am so grateful you are here with me today, because this conversation may be one of the most important you will ever have with yourself. So many times, we are taught to search everywhere else for strength, for answers, for permission. But the truth I want to remind you of is simple and powerful. The power you are looking for has always been within you. It is not something you need to earn. It is not something you need to borrow. It is not something someone else can give or take away. It has been inside you from the very beginning, quietly waiting for you to notice. Life is not about becoming something else. Life is about remembering who you already are. I want you to pause right now, take a deep, gentle breath, and ask yourself, how would my life look if I truly believed that all the love, all the wisdom, and all the guidance I need already lives within me? What would shift immediately? Because you see, every time you honor that truth, every time you lean into your inner wisdom, every time you stop running outside for answers and start listening inwardly, you begin to change everything. A thought is the seed of your experience. A belief is the soil in which it grows. A choice is the water that makes it flourish. And every single one of those things, thought, belief, choice, belongs to you. No one else can think your thoughts. No one else can create your beliefs. No one else can make your choices. That is your power. Now, one of the most liberating lessons we can ever embrace is this. Responsibility is freedom, not punishment, not blame, not guilt, freedom. When you accept responsibility for your life, you take the keys back from everyone and everything you once gave them to. As long as you blame, you give away your keys. As long as you blame, you say, I cannot be happy until you change. As long as you blame, you chain yourself to circumstances and people and events that may never be able to give you what you want. But when you say, I take responsibility, you unlock the door. You open the possibility. You reclaim your power. Think about it. If someone else is to blame for your sadness, then you are helpless until they behave differently. If the world is to blame for your lack, then you are powerless until the world becomes fairer. If your past is to blame for your struggle, then you are stuck until the past magically disappears. But when you say with courage, I am responsible for my own thoughts, for my own feelings, for my own energy, suddenly life opens. You realize that the past cannot keep you bound unless you keep replaying it. You realize that people cannot make you small unless you agree with them. You realize that circumstances cannot define you unless you give them that permission. Responsibility says, I am not a victim of life. I am a creator in life. I know that word responsibility can feel heavy. For many, it sounds like fault or shame, but I want you to hear me clearly. Responsibility is not fault. Responsibility is choice. Responsibility is power. It does not mean you caused every painful thing in your life consciously. It means you have the power to choose how you respond right now, in this moment. It means you can plant a new seed. It means you can create a new experience. Responsibility is your way of saying, no matter where I have been, I get to choose where I go next. Doesn't that feel lighter? Doesn't that feel empowering? I want to give you a simple image. Imagine your life as a garden. Every thought you think is a seed. Every emotion you feel is the sunlight or the storm. Every action you take is the water or the drought. If your garden is full of weeds, blaming the weeds will not make them disappear. Sitting in the corner angry at the soil will not grow flowers. Waiting for someone else to pull them will not create a harvest. Only when you pick up your tools, your seeds, your water, and say, "This is my garden, and I choose what grows here," will you see change. And the moment you decide that, you have already begun the transformation. Now, let us talk about blame, because many of us have spent years pointing our fingers outward. It's because of them. It's because of this. It's because of what happened to me. And in the moment, it feels like relief, because blame shifts the weight away from us. But in reality, blame makes us small. Blame makes us powerless. Blame builds walls instead of bridges. When you blame, you hand over the paintbrush of your life and say, "Here, you decide the colors." When you blame, you give away your script and say, "Here, you write the story." When you blame, you shrink the vast universe within you to the size of someone else's approval. And that is not who you are. You are not a victim. You are not powerless. You are not small. You are a divine expression of life itself, and life has entrusted you with the sacred power of thought, of choice, of love. The moment you stop blaming, the moment you stop waiting for others to change, the moment you stop saying, "If only they," and instead say, "I will," you step into your own magnificence. And in that moment, miracles begin. Because the universe responds to empowerment, not to pity. The universe responds to clarity, not to blame. The universe responds to love, not to resentment. So tonight, I want you to hold this simple affirmation close. I am willing to take responsibility for my life. I release the need to blame. I step into my power now. Let those words sit on your tongue. Say them softly. Whisper them until they feel like your own breath. Repeat them until your subconscious accepts them as truth. Every time you say them, you are rewriting the script. Every time you say them, you are planting new seeds. Every time you say them, you are stepping into a new reality. And if you feel resistance, that's okay. Resistance is just the old belief trying to stay alive. Smile at it. Thank it for protecting you once. And then gently say, "I no longer need you. I am choosing something new." Remember, healing does not come from pressure, but from permission. You are allowed to change gently. You are allowed to change slowly. You are allowed to change now. So, my dear, I ask you, what are you ready to stop blaming tonight? Who are you ready to release from the prison of your resentment? What old story are you willing to let go of so that you can pick up the pen and write a new chapter? Feel into those questions. Let them stir your heart, and know that as you answer, life is already listening. Life is already responding. Life is already flowing through you, because the power is already within you. I remember so clearly the years when I carried all 4 of these heavy stones inside me: criticism, fear, guilt, and resentment. I know what it feels like to wake up every morning already tired because of the voices in your own mind. I know what it feels like to look in the mirror and see only mistakes, to replay the past until it steals the present, to hold on to anger thinking it protects you when in truth it poisons you. And I share this because I want you to know I have walked that path. The found the way out. Let us talk first about criticism. How many of you grew up hearing more about what you did wrong than what you did right? How many of you learned to criticize yourself before anyone else could? Criticism feels like it keeps us safe, as if by judging ourselves harshly, we can improve faster or protect ourselves from disappointment. But the truth is, criticism does not build, it breaks. Criticism does not protect, it wounds. Criticism does not empower, it weakens. Every time you say, "I'm not good enough," you are chiseling away at the foundation of your own self-trust. And without self-trust, you cannot grow. That is why I often remind you, be gentle with yourself. Gentleness builds confidence where criticism destroys it. Gentleness whispers, "I am learning, I am growing, I am doing my best." And when you affirm that, your heart opens instead of closes. Now let us face fear together. Fear is such a clever jailer, isn't it? It whispers, "Don't try, you'll fail." It hisses, "Don't open your heart, you'll be hurt." It convinces us that hiding is safer than living. But my dear, hiding is not living. Fear does not keep you safe. It keeps you small. Fear does not protect your future. It steals your present. And the truth is, most of what we fear never even happens. Life is not asking you to never feel fear. Life is asking you to notice it and still take one small step forward. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move with love anyway. Every time you breathe through fear, every time you choose one small act of trust, you loosen the chains, and slowly the cage opens. And then there is guilt. Oh, how heavy guilt can be. So many carry it like a secret stone in the heart. Guilt for mistakes, guilt for choices, guilt for simply not being perfect. But guilt, when it lingers, does not heal the past. It only poisons the present. Guilt cannot undo what has been done. Guilt cannot rewrite yesterday. All guilt can do is keep you from loving yourself today. And yet we cling to it, as if punishing ourselves will somehow set us free. But my love, punishment does not create freedom. Forgiveness does. And the first forgiveness is always for yourself. When you can say, "Yes, I made mistakes, but I am still worthy of love. Yes, I stumbled, but I am learning," then the stone of guilt begins to dissolve. Then healing flows again. Finally, let us face resentment. Resentment is the chain that ties you to the past. It is like drinking poison and waiting for someone else to die. It keeps old wounds alive long after the event is over. Resentment says, "Until you make it right, I cannot be free." But freedom does not wait for someone else's apology. Freedom does not depend on someone else's growth. Freedom comes when you decide to stop carrying what is too heavy. Releasing resentment is not about approving of what happened. It is about choosing not to suffer from it anymore. When you forgive, you are not saying, "What you did was okay." You are saying, "I refuse to let your actions control my happiness any longer." That is power. That is liberation. So here we are. Criticism, fear, guilt, and resentment. These four emotions are the great thieves of life. They steal joy, they steal peace, they steal health. And the only way to heal is to recognize them, name them, and then let them go. You do not need to fix them, fight them, or force them away. You only need to notice, breathe, and release. Say to yourself now, softly but firmly, "I release the need to criticize myself. I release the grip of fear. I release the weight of guilt. I release the chains of resentment." Feel how different those words are. Feel how your body softens when you let them sink in. My dear, healing begins when you make the choice to let go of what no longer serves you. You don't have to do it all at once. You don't have to be perfect. You only have to be willing. Willing to be gentle. Willing to trust. Willing to forgive. Willing to let life flow again. And as you do, you will find that beneath the criticism is confidence. Beneath the fear is courage. Beneath the guilt is innocence. Beneath the resentment is freedom. And all of that has been within you, waiting for you all along. You know, I've said this many times, and I'll say it again. There is a power within you that is greater than any condition or circumstance you will ever face. It's not your willpower, though willpower has its place. It's not your logical mind, though your mind is a beautiful tool. What I'm speaking about is deeper, quieter, older, wiser. It is the infinite spiritual power that lives at the center of your being, the part of you that is connected to the universe itself. That is your true power. When we talk about willpower, we are talking about force. Willpower pushes, it resists, it fights, it tries to bend life into shape. And sometimes it works for a while. You can push yourself into a diet. You can push yourself into a deadline. You can push yourself into proving something to someone else. But what happens when you are tired? What happens when your will weakens? The results collapse because willpower is finite. It's like running on a battery that eventually drains. And if you live your whole life only on willpower, you will always feel exhausted, always chasing, always grasping. But spiritual power, oh my dear, spiritual power is not like that. Spiritual power is not about force, it is about flow. It doesn't push, it doesn't strain, it doesn't demand. It allows, it aligns, it listens. Spiritual power is like the current of a river. You don't have to push the river to flow. You have to relax enough to be carried by it. And when you tap into that, when you let the universe move through you instead of trying to control everything with your mind, life begins to feel effortless. Doors open, not because you forced them, but because you aligned with the key inside yourself. I want you to think about the times in your life when you felt truly in the flow. Those moments when you were so present, so open, so connected, that things seemed to happen almost magically. Maybe you were writing or painting or talking to someone you loved, or simply walking in nature, and suddenly inspiration came. Suddenly answers appeared. Suddenly what felt impossible before became clear and easy. That is spiritual power. That is the universe moving through you. That is the reminder that you are not separate from life. You are life. The mind likes to believe it is in charge. The ego loves to say, I did this. I made this happen. I control this. But when you really look closely, you realize that most of the best things in your life didn't come from willpower. They came when you let go. They came when you softened. They came when you surrendered. They came when you trusted. This is why I tell you again and again, stop trying so hard and start allowing. Life is not something you must wrestle with. Life is something you can dance with. And here's the most beautiful truth. The more you trust this infinite power, the more it reveals itself to you. The more you release control, the more you are guided. The more you surrender fear, the more you are held. The more you open your heart, the more love flows in. Spiritual power is not about adding more. It is about removing what blocks the flow. Fear blocks it. Guilt blocks it. Resentment blocks it. Criticism blocks it. But underneath those barriers, the river is always there, waiting. Imagine yourself now as a hollow flute. If you are filled with doubt, anger, worry, nothing can pass through. But when you clear the channel, the music of the universe flows through you. Imagine yourself as a window. If it is covered in dust and dirt, the light cannot shine through. But when you clean it, even just a little, the sunlight pours in. That is what spiritual power feels like. Not something you must create, but something you allow, something you uncover, something you remember. Now let me ask you this softly. Where in your life have you been relying only on willpower? Where have you been forcing, pushing, grasping, trying to make things happen on your own strength? And how would it feel if instead of forcing, you allowed? Instead of pushing, you trusted? Instead of grasping, you opened? Feel that shift in your body. Feel how your shoulders soften when you imagine letting the universe carry you. Feel how your breath deepens when you stop trying to control every outcome. That is the taste of true power. And the truth is, this power has no limit. It doesn't run out. It doesn't drain. It doesn't collapse. It is infinite because it comes from Source itself. You and I are connected to that Source. We don't need to earn it. We don't need to deserve it. We don't need to fight for it. It is already ours. It is already within. You are already connected to everything you need. You are already plugged into the infinite. The only question is, are you allowing yourself to feel it? I know some of you are thinking, but Louise, how do I do that? How do I stop forcing and start flowing? My dear, it begins with awareness. Simply notice when you are straining. Notice when your jaw is tight, when your breath is shallow, when your thoughts are spinning. That is your signal. Ah, I am in willpower mode. And in that moment, you can pause. You can place your hand on your heart and say, I am willing to let the universe work through me. I don't have to do it all alone. And then take one breath, just one. And in that breath, you shift from force to flow. Every time you do this, you strengthen the pathway. Every time you do this, you open the channel a little wider. Every time you do this, you move closer to the truth that you are not limited by your mind or your will. You are carried by something far greater, far wiser, far more loving. So let us affirm this together now. I trust the infinite power within me. I relax into the flow of life. I allow the universe to move through me with ease and grace. Say it softly. Say it again. Feel it in your body. And as you drift through your day, remember that willpower is small, but your spirit is vast. The mind may be limited, but your soul is limitless. You are not a machine grinding through tasks. You are a divine channel, a vessel for love, a temple of light. And when you live from that truth, my dear, nothing can stop you. Because you are no longer fighting life. You are letting life flow through you. And life, when it flows, is always abundant, always healing, always miraculous. You are powerful, you are infinite, and the universe is always on your side. And now, let us go even deeper, because by now you understand this truth. The power is already within you, but your thoughts are the bridge that connects you to it. The mind is not the source of infinite power, but it is the tool, the gateway, the channel through which you either open to the flow of the universe or block it completely. Every thought you think is either a key that unlocks the flow of life or a lock that shuts it down. And I want you to know, my dear, you hold the keys in your own mind every single day. So often, we underestimate the role of thought. We think thoughts are fleeting, harmless, just little clouds passing through. But thoughts are seeds, and like all seeds, they grow when nourished. A thought repeated becomes a belief. A belief held becomes a vibration. A vibration broadcast becomes your experience. This is why I have always said, your thoughts shape your life. Not because the thought itself is the power, but because the thought connects you to the infinite creative energy of the universe. When you think in ways that align with love, trust, openness, gratitude, You are saying to life, I am ready, flow through me. But when you think thoughts of criticism, fear, guilt, or resentment, you close the door. You disconnect yourself from the stream of abundance that was always flowing. You pinch the hose and wonder why no water comes, and you blame yourself or others, forgetting that you are the one holding the hose tight. The moment you loosen your grip, the flow returns. So it is not about fixing everything outside of you. It is about noticing the thought within you that is creating resistance, and then gently choosing a new one. Let me explain it this way. Thoughts are instructions. When you say, I can't, your subconscious says, very well, we won't. When you say, I am open to learning, your subconscious says, let me show you how. When you say, I am unloved, your vibration closes and you don't see the love that is actually around you. When you say, I am worthy of love, you suddenly notice the smile, the kindness, the opportunity for connection that was always present. This is not fantasy. This is alignment. The thought doesn't create the universe, but it tunes you into the frequency of what is already there. So let's ask ourselves honestly, what am I thinking today? Is it helping me connect to life, or is it cutting me off? This question is not to judge yourself. It is not to criticize. It is simply to become aware, because awareness is the first step to transformation. When you catch yourself in a negative loop, instead of sinking deeper, you can pause. You can say, stop, I see this thought, I choose again. And then you bring in an affirmation, a healing phrase, a loving reminder, something as simple as, I am safe, I am loved, I am enough. Every positive thought you choose is like loosening the grip on the hose. Every loving affirmation you speak is like opening the window to let light pour in. And soon you discover the flow was always there. You were never disconnected. You were only clouded by thoughts that made you forget. Now let's talk about those 4 barriers we discussed earlier: criticism, fear, guilt, and resentment. These are not just emotions. They are thought patterns that recycle themselves, looping day after day until you consciously release them. Criticism tells you, you are not enough. Fear whispers, the world is unsafe. Guilt says, you don't deserve good things. Resentment insists, the past must punish you. And every time you repeat these messages, you reinforce the wall between yourself and the flow of life. But you are not powerless here. You can interrupt these loops. One of my favorite tools is the 5-second rule of interruption. The moment you hear the old thought, count down softly, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then insert a new affirmation. Replace criticism with, I am learning and growing. Replace fear with, I trust life to support me. Replace guilt with, I forgive myself, I deserve healing. Replace resentment with, I release the past, I am free. Do you see how each new thought is not just a word? It is a bridge. It reconnects you to the infinite stream. And this is where the practice comes in. Healing and transformation are not one-time events. They are daily choices. They are gentle habits. They are the little rituals that retrain your mind and remind your spirit. At night, before you sleep, whisper 3 affirmations. In the morning, look into your mirror and say, life loves me. During the day, when your mind begins to race, pause and ask, is this thought opening me or closing me? And if it is closing, shift it, softly, kindly, consistently. Let me share a truth with you. You don't have to believe the new thought right away. You only have to be willing. Willingness is enough to create a crack in the wall. And through that crack, light enters. Through that crack, the river flows again. Through that crack, your inner being begins to remember who you truly are. And with each repetition, the belief takes root. With each practice, the flow strengthens. So let us practice together right now. Place your hand on your heart and say with me, "The power is already within me. I allow the universe to flow through me." Feel the truth of these words vibrate in your chest. Feel how your breath deepens when you say them. Feel how your shoulders drop, your body softens, your energy shifts. That is not imagination. That is the resonance of thought aligning with Source. My dear, you are not broken. You are not powerless. You are not alone. You are connected to everything, and everything is connected to you. The only thing standing between you and the flow of life is the thought that says you are separate. But today, you are choosing a new thought. Today, you are remembering. Today, you are aligning. So here is my closing blessing for you. May your thoughts be bridges, not walls. May your mind become a garden of healing, not a prison of pain. May you remember that every thought is a choice, and every choice is a chance to return to love. And as you rest tonight or walk into tomorrow, carry this with you. The power is already within me. I allow the universe to flow through me. Whisper it, repeat it, let it sink into your cells. Because when you believe this, when you live this, when you breathe this, you will discover that life was never against you. Life was always waiting to flow through you. And now, at last, you are ready to let it.